Welcome back to my channel. My name is BJ. My business is called Junked Up, and today we are going to be making over this vintage dresser. I currently live abroad without a car, and so I just want to share with you what I have to go through to get furniture. This is my cargo bike at night with the dresser in it, and I'm pushing it on the sidewalk because it was too heavy and I was too tired to pedal all the way home. Hello friends! Thank you so much for being here with me today to watch this video. It has been a very hot minute since I have put out a furniture painting video because I took a little break from furniture painting because I wanted to try my hand at painting artwork on canvas. I'm not a canvas artist. I don't have any art training. I have no art background. It'll be very evident when I show you my artwork that I have not gone to art school. But I do want to tell you that it is important to creatively challenge yourself. It is important to get outside your comfort zone. It is important to, when you've been doing something for as long as I have, like painting furniture, to really stretch your creative mind a little bit and try things that are different. Because it really keeps your creative juices flowing and it keeps your, maybe like your creative skills sharp. At least it does for me anyway. So I'm gonna put a couple pieces of my artwork on screen now. You can see this one. And maybe this one. Maybe this one. You know, they're a little weird, they're a little funky, but I'm a little weird and a little funky, so they're a good representation of me, I guess. So this piece had what I call little flea bites, little nicks, dings, and divots all along the edges. So I took some 120 grit sandpaper and smoothed those all out. And since I had my sandpaper out already, I went ahead and I just gave the whole thing a light sanding. So the very first thing I did was gave my piece a base coat of Hay Sailor. Just one quick coat, just getting it on there. I took the drawers out and I painted the drawers and the base separate because these drawers don't slide all the way in flush with the piece of furniture. There's a little lip and I want to make sure that I got the entire base coated and the drawers done. I'm going to go ahead and put the drawers back in for this next part. So here's where the fun part comes in. Just a note on blending paint colors together. I don't really have a tried and true method of doing it. I kind of just blend colors together however I feel in the moment. For this particular piece, this is just kind of the way I chose to do it. I'm using a tapping motion to create a little bit of texture and just basically going back and forth between the Monet's Garden and the Hay Sailor. Tool is called a color shaper and I'm using it just to smooth out a little bit of that texture I created and further blend those colors together. So notice on this end of the bottom drawer I'm using a little bit Monet's Garden and a little bit less of the Hay Sailor. I'm also using the same brush for both, so there's still residual Hay Sailor on that brush. That's okay, as long as you kind of stick to a color palette, it's all going to come together at the end. This is a really great shot of the color shaper in action. You can see how it does a good job of smoothing out some of that texture I created and also creating a texture all on its own. And it does a really nice job of pulling that Hay Sailor and the Monet's Garden together. So as I'm progressing up the drawers, I'm actually using the same brush for both the Monet's Garden and the Hay Sailor. So at this point, the brush has really got a good mixture of those colors. So I just keep going. Here I'm adding a little bit more Hay Sailor. And now I'm introducing a new color. This is Seaglass. It's a turquoisey, greenish, bluish, and I think it works really well with the Monet's Garden and the Hay Sailor. Hey, I'm not going to beg you or anything, but this is just a little friendly reminder that if this content is relevant to you or you find it helpful, consider subscribing, and at the very least, give me a thumbs up. Now I'm introducing yet another color, but this is the last color for the blending. And this is Aviary, which is a really nice green, and I thought it worked really, really well with the Monet's Garden, the Hay Sailor, and the Seaglass. So again, I'm going back to my color shaper to kind of blend those colors together. You could forego this. If you don't have a color shaper or you don't like it, you don't have to do it. You can just do the tapping and leave all of that great texture that the tapping motion with the brush creates. I wanted the top drawers to be lighter than the bottom, so here I'm just using the Aviary and the Seaglass on this side of the drawer. And while this side of the drawer still has a Seaglass Hay Sailor mix, I was a lot heavier with the Seaglass. So before I use the color shaper to kind of blend and mix color together, now I'm just using the color shaper to actually deposit some color. So I just picked the Aviary and the Seaglass in a couple different spots, just to add a little bit more color and make it look a little painterly. Let's take a second to talk about the knobs and the keyholes. I had plans to use Cowgirl Coral on this dresser. Those plans didn't really work out, but as I was mixing Cowgirl Coral with the other colors that I used in the dresser, every time I came up with a new color, which I ended up not liking, I just took it with my finger and wiped it on the knobs and keyholes. And so that's how they ended up the way they are. So after I scrapped the plans for the Cowgirl Coral that I was going to do, I decided to keep things simple. And so I chose to use the Bohemia stamp from Orchid Designs. And I used a stamp pad with some pigment ink that I got on Amazon to apply the Bohemia stamp to the dresser using different parts and pieces for the different drawers. Once I was happy with the placement of all the stamps and I let that ink thoroughly dry, I gave the piece an all-over light sanding with some 220 grit sandpaper just to knock back the stamp a little bit and smooth things out and make my piece feel good. Because I can't leave well enough alone and more is more in my book, I decided to add some splatter, so I used Cowgirl Coral and Seaglass to just put some paint splatters on there. Okay, let's talk about the wax freakout factor for a second here. You'll notice how dark that paint gets when I apply the clear wax. That is perfectly normal. It is perfectly normal for that stamp design to disappear. It is perfectly normal for you to freak out and say, oh my gosh, what did I just do? It's okay. The paint's gonna lighten back up a little bit. Now it still will be richer and more intense than when it was dry, but it will even out, it will not be blotchy, and you'll just be left with beautiful color. Best practice with your wax is to apply at least 2 coats of wax. I like to give mine 24 hours in between each one, and then after the last 24 hours, I go ahead and I buff it with a clean, soft cloth. All of the supplies I have used in this video are linked in the description box below, as well as all of the places that you can find me. Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, my website, every place that you want to look for me, it's all in the description box below. I know I say thank you every single time for watching, but I really do mean it. Like, thank you for watching. I know we're all super busy. I know we don't have a lot of time. And the fact that you actually sat through my video and watched it means the world to me. So thank you so much, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.